All right, then. I'm on page 14, I guess. I'm still working on that same first panel. I haven't got a lot of it done. I did just get these new brushes pretty much for free with my Creative Fabrica account, which is not really free. There's not much, though. I think the amount of fonts that I've downloaded and free brushes and other stuff, I think I'm okay with. I'm looking at this figure, and if I put her thumb on the outside like this, on the right, that means we're seeing the inside of her arm. But if I put the thumb on the other side, we're seeing the palm, right? It's basically whether you do it like this or like this. This is what I constantly do with hands. And I think I want it this way because I want her to be saying like no mas, you know. We're doing some trees. All right, let's try and get her. She's really tired, so you know. Look at that oversized sweat drop I put on there. What was I thinking? That might have been from an earlier sketch. She's hot and she's tired, so her hair is going to droop down. And her antennas are going to droop down as well. And you know, she's kind of slumped forward too. And she's no longer, this is a scene change. So she's no longer wearing just the bathing suit. She's going to have the long pants again. I could conceivably put her in a whole different outfit, like maybe some kind of traveling outfit. But I think she's okay like this. Oh, I missed the eraser. She's got her belt back. Really got to watch it on the line weights. And I know I want to make her attractive, but I don't think I want to make her too booby, you know what I mean? All right, let's take out the pencil layer. Oh, we're close. I want to have her wrist up at this point. This is a real Betty and Veronica type pose I'm drawing here. I'm looking for places where I've overlapped incorrectly. Every time I say something like that, I always imagine there's some artist out there going, you did it incorrectly. Plenty of better artists than me out there. But they're not doing what I do. So I guess it's okay. All right. Well, we still have to do a background layer, but we've got some good topographic details here. We can see the curvature of the terrain. A little bit of the perspective. I'm going to go ahead and do some balloons just to tie this page together. I'm very excited to be almost done with my current sketchbook. Vole, I've got 3 pages left, and I had an idea for what I wanted to do in the last 3, which is a good thing. All right, layer 12. First of all, let's name it. Bubbles. Okay. Now, yes, I am technically breaking the border. I feel like you can get away with this on the upper left. You should avoid it if possible. But the pop-out narration box is good because it's almost like it's taking place outside of the confines of the panel, like a voiceover might. And indeed, it is a narration or a voiceover. You know, and it kind of works when you do it like that. All right, in this case, we're going to have, she has 2 lines and then he has 1 line. So that is a good way to do it. It's not a back and forth. If she had 2 lines and then he had 1 line and then she had another line, that would be a back and forth. And that's something to avoid if you can. Although you can't avoid it. In fact, I've already done some where that's exactly what happened. Okay, this was a conundrum. I want to link these 2 speech bubbles, but I've got a tree in the way, and if I link them across the tree, I'm creating a huge tangent, so I'm going to link them up here. And it should be okay. Next up, the tail. the tail should point at the speaker's mouth, but it doesn't have to go all the way. So like, that's enough. It's pointing in the right direction. And there's a million ways to do speech bubbles and tails. There we go. All right, let's do this one. There's going to be a bunch of stuff behind it, but if we have it out of the way, it'll just make our lives a lot easier. Oh, let me show you a cool trick. Okay. Now, I've circled this, and you can see it's a little bit higher up here than it is here. It's the wrong thing, and I could just redraw it and redraw it a couple of times to try and get it right, but I want to show you a pretty cool trick. First of all, finish your speech bubble and fill it with the white. Right? Now, choose the select and freehand and circle just the speech bubble that you need, and make sure it's on warp. It's on warp down here. So you select, hold on, can't see the whole thing. You select, freehand it, and then choose warp. And then you could just kind of tug the corners and make sure that it's all kind of evenly distributed, and you have enough air in your speech bubble. You want it to be balanced. There, perfect. And minor adjustments like this, I know this is, we're talking, I'm at 300 DPI, I'm using a not particularly high-res brush. This is the technical pen, so it's very anti-aliased. But if you're just making a minute adjustment like that, it isn't very obvious. Especially in the fast-paced and exciting world of indie comics. All right, bring it back to the ink layer. We're going to talk about this back horizon line. And I want to rise over here, and we're going to do some more trees. I know I've got trees already there, so let's bring some of those in. If we wanted to, we didn't have to go by these trees. We could go by, just by using the guidelines, we could say, okay, let's make some more trees. Let's make a tree that's not a banana tree. Or a hot dog tree, balloon tree, lollipop tree, whatever you'd like to call these. Remember, the detailed trees, the detailed plants are the ones you want right up front. But as you go further and further back, you don't need to sweat it as much, and you should use thin lines. And I'm going to do a couple of layers here. Now we're assuming that where they landed was kind of a valley where there was water. In fact, it even mentions in the panel when they land, we found you a place with water. Let's take a look. When I say take a look, I usually mean pull the pencils off. Let's see how it's going. Yeah, it's going okay. It's going okay. I think we definitely need to do some tones. Maybe it's getting late in the day or something, or... Oh, you know what we should do? Some clouds. So put some hazy clouds kind of near the... We could put the clouds way up, too. Now, another trick, and I'm not going to do it here, but you could take your clouds. Let me take my clouds out for a second. Is it a cloud? What is this? Oh, it's nothing. Okay. Another trick is you could say, okay, well, let's say that right here is our vanishing point. You could use the vanishing point as another perspective line for the clouds even, so even the clouds can have a vanishing point. And actually, that doesn't look too bad, if we do it like that. And it's also giving us the benefit of pointing directly at the main character speaking. And you can make it more obvious or less obvious. I'm going to try and make it a bit less obvious here. This is all looking pretty good. That line is not looking good because it's too thick. And same with here and here. All right, let's bring those in tighter. And we can do all kinds of shapes over here on the ground to bring in texture. If you're brave and you want to check out an outsider art technique called horror vacui. Right, that is that's what we're going for as far as the textures on the ground and stuff. But you want your textures to be heavy up front and then, maybe just some stippling in the back. And I mean subtle stippling, like thin lines and not much to it. All right, let's get that tones layer in. We're going to put it in front of the ink layer. I'm going to put it at 10%, although I might change my mind later. Look at his figure is so small that when we start shading, we're basically just getting just a few lines, so it's not great. Where would the sun be, right? If the sun's coming down, the shadows get longer, right? Let's say the sun is ahead of them and they're walking towards the sun. Now remember, we made our tones on a different layer, so we can just, with an eraser, and won't hurt anything, except for these shadow tones that we're using. And story-wise, we should be thinking about what happens next. Like, what's the next encounter? What in the story, if you were telling the story to a small child at bedtime, what would you have happen next for the maximum entertainment value? I got a couple of ideas. They say we can camp here if you like. Kairop 2 is just ahead. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Something's got to happen while they camp, right? I mean, that's a given. All right, we're going to put texture on the shade side of the trees. You can have it a little bit down here. Maybe not. Maybe down here. Over here. And all of these are cues and clues because we're saying, hey, the sun sets in the west, you know. They've been traveling all day, and it reinforces the story. And the, you know, so what's going on. What do you think? I think we got at least one panel here. All right. Let me get back to the ink layer. And I'm going to get back to my micro nib here. Micro nibs essay. See my scribbly lines? I'll be going, why is he making scribbly lines? Because zoom out and it's just it's just a scrub. We could probably do some more over here. I'm still carrying everything. Let me get back into the texture layer. What if I put all this stuff in shadow behind him? I think that's a pretty good panel. Yeah. All right. Should I call it a day and just move on to the next panel? What is the next panel? Ah, the next panel is the heat, the hot, hot heat. All right. I'm going to do just a little bit and then we're going to wrap this up. So she's, whoops, rusty nib, ink. I'm in the right place. Just pleading for mercy here. It's hot. It's too hot. Too hot to be walking. And you can see behind her we have the blazing sun. I think I had an early notion to put two suns here to make it even more alien. Like this planet has two suns, like, or maybe two moons or something like that. I'm going to go back and remind myself what I wrote about this. But having the one sun just works, so I'm not going to mess with it. Okay. I do have to say, this whole comic, by the way, has been an experiment using this noisy nib. Like, this is the first time I've done it. And I think I'm going to do all my comics like this from now on because I like the look of it. I think it's working out pretty well. I think her eyes should have a little bit of white over the top. She's tired, but she's also concerned. She's got Sweat pouring off of her. You're a robot. You have an easier time marching through this hostile landscape. Oh, I don't need that head. That hurt. She's got to. I've got to draw her hair. That's what I've got to do. All right, let's just do her. Antennas. People. And there's her wings. And then there's the sun behind her. Perfect circle, right? We can get a little bit abstract with this blazing sunlight. Sometimes I can go a little far. All right, there we go. I've inadvertently. No, that was not a tangent. I have created a tangent here. That's the tangent. I don't think I should cover up the sun. So I'll have to think of another way to do. Another place to put these speech bubbles. And we'll give this whole thing some thought. I think I might tone her whole bodice area here to keep it clear. Created another tangent right here. All right, baby. All right. Gotta go. I think I'm done for right now. Thanks for watching. Please like, follow, subscribe. I'll have more panels done before you know it. Talk to you later.